Ladies and gentlemen and boys and girls and children of all ages, you're now tuned in to the Fight Card Podcast, hosted by Spider. ¿Quién quiere chingazos?
Hello everybody, Spider here, the Fight Card Podcast, coming to you once again from San Antonio, Texas. As always, being joined by Aaron Suarez. Aaron, bro, how are you, man?
I'm doing well, man. Another beautiful Friday.
No, definitely, man. I mean, I was just thinking the other day. I didn't realize it was already December, man. I looked at the phone and I'm thinking, dang, you know, what happened in November? But the time's definitely going by quick, man.
Always staying busy.
No, definitely, bro. I mean, I know you work full time as well, bro. So yeah. I mean, family, work, this, you know, you're staying busy, bro.
Yeah.
But as always, man, I appreciate you stopping by. I mean, of course, you've been helping out, and I appreciate that. What I wanted to go over was actually the UFC 269 card. Now, this is going to happen on December 11th. It's going to be on a Saturday on pay-per-view, and it's taking place at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, man. You ever been to Vegas?
I haven't. Actually, we're hoping to save up some money and get out there sometime next year.
Oh, I mean, man, maybe there'll be a fight going on, man. Maybe the wife will let you walk out for a little bit.
Walk off just for a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, a couple hours, you know.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure Vegas isn't going to be nice to me, so at least I'm hoping so.
No, yeah, I've been out there twice, man, and both times I think the closest I got to winning anything was a change machine. I had to use the vacuum to clean up the car on the way home, but I broke even. It was good. But yeah, man, I've been out there twice, man. I enjoyed it. Nice. Go back again probably, man. But it's just, it's got to be one of those things you got to plan for, man. Especially if you're gonna be spending money, dude, because they'll take your money quick.
Oh yeah, I'm hoping.
No, yeah. Bro, real quick, man, the UFC 269 card, I mean, of course, the main event, bro, this is going to be with Charles Oliveira. Now, he's fighting Dustin Poirier, somebody that you've actually fought before, man.
Yeah, I used to dabble a little bit, right? And so as far as, like, going into this fight, right, I mean, I get asked all the time when guys are like, hey, man, he does this fight, like, who you going for? I'm like, well, I'm going for Dustin. Like, yeah, kick my ass, so I'm gonna, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, to me it just makes sense, right? I ain't got nothing against him or anything like that. So, but yeah, I mean, I feel pretty good about his matchup coming here. I mean, he's really shown really great hands. His movement, he's just kind of taken off after he kind of struggled a little bit with some of the top guys, and then it's after I believe it was like Michael Johnson at the time, and then after that he's just racking up all these wins. So. I would expect to finish, somewhere, maybe in the third, maybe the fourth round or so, maybe pushing Charles a little bit. I know one of his things about Charles was kind of like, there's, at least they're saying is, there's really no dog in him. So, I think if Dustin can really push the pace, get that boxing going and really, hit him hard and heavy, and often, that's going to make for a good night for him.
No, yeah, I mean, definitely wear the guy out and, get the win, man. I mean, of course, Poirier, the other day, they were interviewing him. He was talking, he's saying he's not taking this fight lightly. I mean, he's training hard for this. And, I mean, he does, for me, I mean, he does have better hands than Oliveira from his their past fights, man. One of the things with Oliveira, man, is if you come in strong and you gas out, like, he sees that, man.
Oh, yeah.
So, I think that's one of the, like you were saying, I think Poirier is definitely going to be, keeping the pace and kind of like, not getting tired basically, bro, because if he does, I mean, if it goes to the ground, it's definitely going to be a scramble. Myself, I mean, I have Charles Oliveira by submission. I mean, it's just my take. If Poirier actually is able to break him up and break him down, then I see him winning via unanimous decision or maybe even TKO, man, late in the rounds. But it is for the belt, man. So, I mean, this is going to be, something that Dustin's obviously been fighting for his whole life, man. So, it's a great opportunity for the guy. Oliveira, of course, doesn't want to lose. But, the Bronx, one of the things, I mean, he moved from Brazil to the Bronx years back. And the guys, I mean, because he was out there in Brooklyn, man. I mean, he was actually training in boxing, and that's where he got his hands. He does have a reach on this, I believe, man. So, it's just going to be, like you said, it's going to be whether or not... he can push Oliveira, pace him, get him tired, break him down, and get that win. Yeah. But this is happening December 11th, man. Of course, I'm going to be watching, and we'll see what happens, bro.
Yeah, no, I think Dustin's coming off. He's at a really high point in his career with, of course, beating McGregor twice, right? So even the way the last one went with the busted ankle, he's still right now at the peak. So. I would assume, he feels that it's his time. He's been working a long time to get to this point. So, I mean, again, I know you got Charles, but I'm gonna go with Dustin.
Oh, no, for sure, man. And I mean, we're going to go ahead and bet $1, bro. I'm going to bet you $1 per fight, man. So hopefully I win enough to give me some breakfast the day after. But yeah, man, I mean, moving down, this is a main event, of course. The co-main event, Amanda Nunes, man. She's actually fighting Juliana Peña. Mm-hmm. This is going to be at 135 pounds for the title, obviously. Yeah. How do you see this one going?
So the pool for the women's division, especially with Amanda, being at the helm, isn't really deep. But if there was one girl that could beat her, I would always put it down as Juliana Peña. I actually wanted her to fight Amanda for the longest time. I thought if anybody could keep up with her, it would have been Juliana. She does have a lot. She has really good wrestling. Right. I also think that just the confidence factor, man. I think she understands and respects what Amanda can bring. With the power in her punches and everything else like that. But she's aware of that power, but she also, it seems like she has a strategy to get in close, and she also has a strategy to use that wrestling, take her down and hold her down. Being another big girl, I believe she's like 5'6", but Amanda's 5'8", but it's like they've always seemed like a big difference in height and build, and I think Juliana's also just a pretty big built woman. When you have Amanda compared to like a Ronda Rousey or even Miesha Tate, right. Like they just looked a lot smaller than what they were. So definitely. I think size-wise, it's a good matchup. I think the actual technique of it, with Juliana having more wrestling, is gonna with Juliana having more wrestling, I think it's gonna really affect Amanda, and I think she'll be able to get in close and then really kind of bully her a little bit. So I'm excited to see that, man. I did hear that Juliana wasn't really concerned about Amanda's leg kicks. Right. She just looks at it more. Well, if she throws it, that's an opportunity. She's
gonna catch it and
take her down. Yeah. So it's so I'm really excited to see that fight, man. So, but I'm gonna go against the champ. I probably shouldn't, but I'm going to, and I'm gonna roll with Juliana Peña.
No, I mean that's actually a good breakdown, man. I mean I know, Juliana, man, definitely she does have a strong wrestling. Because she is shorter, I feel like she'd be able to get in a lot deeper. I mean, she can get those underhooks. She can get the takedown. Mm-hmm. I mean, Nunes, of course. I mean, nobody. I mean, there has been some. I mean, she has lost in MMA. Yeah. So she's not undefeated. So that she is human. But on this one, yeah, bro. I mean, it can go both ways. I mean, if Nunes can control the striking and connect and actually stun Peña, then I see her getting the win via TKO, KO, like round 1, round 2. Peña, once again, like, I mean, if she can smother her, like you said, pin her against the cage, work her down, it's a cool, I guess, the fact that you brought down, I mean, will Nunes be comfortable throwing a kick? I mean, probably not.
Oh, yeah.
What I see her doing is probably throwing knees, just trying to time her, and, she shoots in, of course, she'll tag her with one, but it makes her dangerous because now she's handicapped, basically, she's taking that technique away and, making her work her fight, which is going to be interesting, man. But yeah, man, I mean, like I said, I mean, if Nunes can finish this early, I see her getting a TKO, KO late in the rounds, man. I mean, if Peña can control her, beat her down, and take that title, man. I mean, that'd be one for the records, man. Because you said the pool's not that deep.
Yeah, that's going to be an automatic rematch. That's going to be a
2-3, bro.
Yeah, but looking at, like when Ronda fought Amanda, when Holly fought Amanda, when Miesha fought, like, the pioneers of the women's division, like they all tried to stand with her and box with her. Yeah. And Ronda, she had, poor Ronda, we're not going to go too deep into her, but, she figured she was knocking guys out, or she was coming off a loss, so she was trying to make a statement, right. And so got TKO'd badly. Same, she ended up getting head kicked, Holly Holm did. When she fought Amanda, and then of course Miesha. I think once Miesha felt the power of Nunes, that was pretty much.
No, yeah, I mean definitely, man, because I mean it goes to show, man. I mean, as far as like with Nunes, because even like with Ronda, when they were fighting, Ronda was square, man. She was like right in front of her the whole time, like no head movement, no, and so she was just a punching bag, man. So Nunes definitely, took that to the, got the win, of course, got that victory, which boosted her up in the division. Let me ask you this, bro. I mean, with that fight, of course, I mean, I'm looking forward to it. One fight that didn't happen, of course, was Edwards versus Masvidal, man. Now, we had talked about this before, and I just want to bring this up because are you still with the same as far as who would win this bout?
I'm still the same, man. I think Edwards would have edged out Masvidal. It's not that Masvidal just isn't good, but with him getting knocked out the way he did last time, and then he's been kind of quiet or whatever. So I'm sure he's back to the grind and hustling and training and stuff like that. But that takes something out of you a little bit. Now you don't have that image of being someone who can just stand there and bank because you got your chin taken.
Right.
At least in one fight. And I think with Edwards, coming in, moving up the way he has been, really just kind of overlooked by a lot of people. They forget on how skilled he is, and I think he would have outpointed and probably even finished Masvidal.
No, you see, and one of the things we talked about before we started the podcast, the episode, man, was Leon Edwards. He's real quiet. He's humble. I mean, he doesn't make a lot of noise. So of course, a lot of fans don't know about him. Mm-hmm. The whole incident that happened with Masvidal in England, right? Yeah. I mean, and that gave him some limelight, but I mean, took too long for them to make this happen, and then of course, Jorge Masvidal, of course, had a rib injury, I think, from what they reported, and fight scratched, but yeah, I mean, the same thing. Leon Edwards definitely, he would have with technique, his strikes. I mean, I think he would have, definitely gotten a TKO, even stoppage, bro. But a lot of fighters in the past, and I just bring this up. Chuck Liddell, one of them. I mean, once he started getting, his chin tested, bro. I mean, he wasn't the same. Yeah. And he hasn't fought back since that fight. But I mean, we'll see where Masvidal, if he comes back and bounces back into the contention, man. Yeah,
definitely, man.
So, I mean, that's the one with that bout, bro. The other one you had wanted to talk about with Cody Garbrandt. I mean, of course. I mean, this is the guy's moving down to 125. Yeah. Like what you stated, man. And, I mean, that's just, the guy's 5'8", bro. So, obviously, he's a big dude coming in. And, I mean, where's that weight coming from, man? Where's he getting rid of this weight?
Oh, you got me. Because he was already, kind of just, or at least I felt like he was already a skinny 35er. I mean, being 5'8", that's my height. 135 pounds, like, man, that's, and then saying, hey, I'm going to go ahead and drop down 10 more pounds, like, that's paper thin, man. That's not a lot of meat on the bone, and so I can imagine, the diet and the training kind of had to, get tweaked quite a bit.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. He has a nutritionist somewhere telling them, a couple of drops of water a day or something. And, I mean, it's insane, man. But I mean, we talked about this card earlier. Of course, his opponent, Kai Kara France, he's 5'4", so obviously Cody's gonna have the height and reach.
Reach,
I mean, how do you fight somebody like that, bro? And I just ask because it's like, if you're punching down or looking down, it's like, I mean, does that throw your game off some?
I think it changes the strategy a little bit, because now you go from being, the guy that's the speedier one, right? That's kind of moving around, jumping around. Now it's like, I mean, you can still move, but now you have somebody who's smaller, who's probably maybe just a little bit quicker than you, because this kid, he's been at 125.
Yeah. No, yeah.
And so one of the hardest things to do is to fight somebody smaller than you, just because they can go just as long as you can, right? As far as like, conditioning and cardio and stuff like that. But then on top of that, they're also going to be maybe just a little bit quicker. And the technique that he might have, fighting other 135ers or even, 45ers is going to change up a little bit, because now he can, to an extent, be a bully.
No, yeah.
So, maybe this time he wants to get a hold of the guy. Maybe this time, he wants to take his guys and really showcase that wrestling, as opposed to maybe just standing and striking. I can see, I think even when he fought Dominic, Cody was the one moving around, popping him, and we would say Dominic was probably the bigger fighter,
right?
But now he's the bigger fighter, and you got this little kid who's probably maybe outpointing you. I mean, a lot of Kai's wins are by split decision, unanimous decision, so he's pointing guys out and jabbing them, moving, sticking and moving, and kind of just not surviving, but doing enough to win the fight. And
right.
He might be doing that to Cody, man. So that's it's very dangerous. But on the flip side of that, man, I mean, Cody's been knocking dudes out at 35.
Yeah. So he's got that power.
So coming down, will the weight cut affect his power? Probably. Maybe just a little bit, but there's still that natural power that he probably still has in there as a 125er now, and bringing that to 125, God, dog, like that's gonna. If he knocked out that one dude just a walk off at 35.
So yeah, dude, that was vicious.
I can only imagine what a walk off knockout at 125.
Oh yeah,
it's gonna look like, and how scary that.
I mean, and to bring it up too, man. I mean, Cody needs this win.
Yeah.
I mean, his record's not too great. You know, he's coming off a win from his last one with the knockout we talked about, but and he's lost to a lot of top contenders. Not saying that he's fighting just anybody's, you know, but yeah, I would say he needs this win.
Yeah. Which is probably just the reason why to rejuvenate the career, come down 10 pounds, and let's see what you do there. Maybe, hopefully, even liven up the 125-pound division, and get these guys really talked about.
No, yeah, I mean, because they brought it back, of course, you know, but I mean, the UFC has never been too kind to smaller divisions, man. But But yeah, man. But I mean, of course, I mean, if Cody loses, what are you thinking, man? I mean, what should he do? Should he go up to 135 again or 145? I mean, he's a big dude.
I mean, it's hard to tell after one fight. You know what he should do. I mean, because it could come off, and hey, you know, he loses or whatever. But you know, check his performance. I mean, that's the one thing I would, you know, encourage him to do, and along with any other fighter, you try something different, new weight class, new whatever. Go back and look at the performance. And how'd you feel? How, you know, what did it look like? You know, was it just because this kid is, because the other kid is what, 22 and something?
Yeah, he's still young.
So and so he's really good. No, as far as the record.
Oh, okay, yes, sir.
What's his record? Like 20 something?
22-9.
20. So I mean, you know, he's winning a lot of fights. He's good, right? And so it could just be a case of where Cody's just coming into just a really good opponent, and it's his first time at 125. He's still trying to get adjusted and used to it. So, you know, a loss doesn't necessarily mean that it was a bad decision for him to drop down to 125.
No, for sure, man. I mean, like you said, I mean, it's experience. I mean, I know his opponent, man, France. He's actually, man, he's got a nice record, bro. I mean, he's fought the who's who. I mean, just stemming from his career. I mean, he's, let me see, looking up. I know he's got some wins against Mark De La Rosa from here in Dallas, or in Dallas, Texas. Win against Tyson Nam, which was in UFC SPN on the 2018, man. Actually, 2020, I'm sorry. So, I mean, but he's got some good wins, bro. I mean, definitely, you know, 125, I mean, he's going to be ready. You know, I mean, he doesn't have to lose too much weight, of course, like, you know, his opponent do. But but we'll see, man. I mean, Cody, of course, I mean, I hope, you know, anybody, man, I wish him all the best. But this one's going to be a nice one, dude. We'll see.
Definitely.
Now, we're going to jump down, bro. We're going to go down the card. We're not going to go over the whole card. But I did want to bring up the next one, man. It's going to be Jeff Neal, of course, 13-4. He's going to be fighting Santiago Ponzinibbio. Now, on this one, this fight's actually good on paper, man. I like it. I mean, they're both stand-up strikers. I mean, of course, Jeff Neal's coming in 2-fight losing streak, unfortunately, but the two top guys, Wonder Boy and, of course, the other Neal. You know, but
Magny.
Yeah, dude, and on that one, man. I mean,
that was a good fight. I like that.
It was. I mean, he fought guys with a long reach. I mean, I don't know if the whole, you know, as far as him not being able to get in on the inside, but I mean, to his record, man, they didn't take him out either, man. I mean, they couldn't finish him. You know, they both said great things about his boxing, his stand-up. I mean, he was a shorter guy in both fights. With a 2-fight, you know, losing streak, man. I mean, of course, he's still a contender. He's number 14 right now. Santiago, I mean, he is number 13. And, I mean, it's going to be a banger, man. I expect it to be a stand-up war. I mean, the first to connect's the one that's going to take the fight. And, I mean, what do you think about this one, man?
I mean, just like you're pointing out, man, you have two guys that are, you know, really good with their hands. And, I mean, hence the nickname, right, for Jeff. I mean, I think coming off, you know, a 2-fight losing streak, coming to this bout, it's a big card. This is a good chance for him to really make a statement on saying, hey, okay, I need to stay here. You know, showed that he has some value to the roster and also just to his name in general as far as, you know, moving up in the rankings. As far as the other guy goes, man, I mean, I'm looking for another quick, maybe second round knockout, maybe, you know, hopefully it's going to bring a lot of fireworks, you know, coming in real early. And I'm hoping, there's no filling out process.
No, they'll probably touch gloves, maybe, man. We'll see. I mean, on this one, let me just bring this up, man. I mean, Santiago, he actually has a win against Mike Perry. With him, he went I think it was unanimous decision, so he went all 3 rounds. Jeff was able to finish Mike Perry, of course. The only thing is he actually took out Neal Magny. And that is Santiago, man. He got him in the round 4, was striking. So it kind of makes you think, man. I mean, if he's able to get in,
it's always that triangle of fighters, right? Where this one could beat this one, and
and the only one way to find out, man. And we're gonna watch it December 11th.
Yeah, man. So I'm excited for that one.
Of course, you know Jeff Neal. He's from Texas, man. I'm pulling for the guy. Known him since his amateur career, And we'll see, man. I mean, it's going to be December 11th, pay-per-view, 170 pounds. And we'll see what happens, bro.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Now, going down the card, man, I know I wanted to bring up this bout only because one of your old training partners, of course, he fought Matt Schnell.
Oh, yeah.
And, I mean, on this one, he's fighting 125 pounds against Alex Perez, 24-6. Now, where do you see this fight going?
Yeah. Matt's changed so much since Louisiana.
Oh, yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, I'm going to go ahead and always roll with the guys, that are closer to home in match now, with it. So he's been fighting since 08, 07, something like that, amateur ranks, and then even going into now his pro career. So with him, man, yeah, I got him probably a decision, I would say, whether it's split or unanimous, but I think he'll do enough in every round to kind of get past his opponent.
No, yeah, man.
That's what I'm looking at.
And like you were saying, Schnell, I mean, he was actually a reality show, celebrity, man. I mean, he did the whole fighter, thing, and I mean, it worked for him because I know he's got a huge following, man. So we'll see. I mean, his opponent, of course. I mean, they're both 5'6", 5'7", 100. This one's let me see. He's coming off.
What class is that set for now? 125, yeah?
25.
125, yeah, dude. I know he, in the amateurs, he was fighting at 35. So,
He's pretty tall, dude?
He's decent height, man. At least he was taller than my buddy Robert.
Oh, yeah. And shout out to Robert, man. Of course, he's out there in Corpus.
Yeah, doing his thing, man. So, but a lot of people are taller than Robert, so I'll make fun of him later.
No, definitely, man. We'll make an episode just for that, bro. Man, I mean, you're calling. I'm gonna go with the same. Matt. I mean, as far as experience, I mean, Alex Perez has a record of, he's got 30 bouts. Ranked number 5. I think it's ranked at number 150, bro. I don't know if that's correct, but maybe if he gets this one, he'll be number 4. I'm gonna take his spot, man.
Nah, it's gotta be a misprint, huh? Somewhere, maybe.
Probably, man. But I mean, it's going to happen. This is going to be December. One of the other ones I wanted to go through, man, was actually one of the grappling phenom in Ryan Hall. I mean, he's fighting Derek Minner. Now, somebody had brought up the other day, and they're talking about jiu-jitsu. I mean, it's not the same thing. Brazilian jiu-jitsu, of course, it's for self-defense, for sport, and for MMA. So there's different ways of fighting as a jiu-jitsu stylist. I think it was actually Cabral. He had brought that up too, man. Okay, we had him here. But there is a difference, though. I mean, of course, in sports jiu-jitsu, you can't strike. Everything's points. You hold the guy. You win by half guard or whatever it's called. But on this one in MMA, of course, if you slow down the fight, man, they're gonna stand you back up, man.
Yeah.
So it just goes to show. I mean, of course, there's been a lot of jiu-jitsu guys that have jumped into MMA, and not all of them make it or decide to stick with it. And I mean, it's gotta be a good thing, man. Like I think even Cabral had mentioned. I mean, if you can make a career out of Brazilian jiu-jitsu or grappling, then by all means, right? I mean, you're making money, get sponsors, but there's so many grapplers out there, man. It's kind of hard, bro.
Yeah, like he has a lot of finishes by submission. Of course, heel hook being his thing,
his forte, bro.
Yeah, but it's just like he has 2 other finishes. One by strikes, and then also another one by I'm looking at it right now. Both by punches. So I mean he's done it. It's not something that he does often and well enough for him to be known for finishing fights in a TKO fashion. So, but when you're going in there, man, and you have such a strong advantage when it comes to the grappling or whatever, and that's kind of like what you're looking for. You get that tunnel vision a little bit. It could be the downfall, man. And with these guys just always evolving, when it comes into it, I'm sure his fight camps is like just throwing just jiu-jitsu guys at him and not having to worry too much about the striking. But if you can't get to the ground, or if you can't figure out a way to do it, and because you had a whole bunch of guys on here that have gone to a decision with him. Yeah. And, if the other guy, man, if he's able to at least, get it to that point and possibly catch him with something. Let's see, looking at Derek, Minner. I mean, he has finishes with submissions, and he also has some TKOs, man. So, you have 2 guys that are really capable of going the distance. With Ryan, like I said, it seems a little more tunnel vision. And if he doesn't get that heel hook, it's always like a decision. So it'll be interesting to see, man, how that first round plays out. he can come out, if Ryan Hall can come out and get that heel hook pretty much right away.
No, definitely slap it on him.
Yeah, I mean, then no doubt. But of course, as the round goes on, you start getting sweat, you start getting maybe even some blood, right? If you're getting some strikes on there, so it makes it a little bit more difficult towards the end of the round. So, it'll be fun to see, man.
No, I mean, for sure, man. I mean, I don't think Derek Nenner would want to go to the ground. I think he's going to try to keep it on his feet. But we'll see if he can accomplish that. And if not, I mean, one of the winners is going to move up in ranks, man. I mean, Ryan Hall right now is ranked number 26. Derek Nenner number 47.
Yeah, well, and like I said, looking at this, man, I mean, he does. I mean, Derek does have a lot of submissions on his resume. On his resume, so a lot of submissions, man. So it should be a fun night.
Oh yeah, so somebody's getting tapped out or knocked out, man. I'll put it that way. But going down, man, we're gonna skip a couple of fights, man. I mean, there's another one, Dominic Cruz, man. I just brought that up, and I mean, he's on the undercard. Actually, I think he's in the prelims, but I mean, still, he's not in the main event. So
which is weird.
Yeah, you see, and I was gonna ask you, man. I mean, how much is that gonna affect the guy mentally, bro?
I mean, being the main eventer on UFC to being on the prelims, I mean, he has to know that his career is kind of progressing or whatever. And some guys, even in the later part of their career, where they're not they're not doing as well,
right?
They're still on the main card. So I mean, for him to drop down to the prelims, hopefully it doesn't affect him, and it could, depending on his ego and how he's taking everything. But if he's just looking at it, hey man, I just want to fight. I just want to continue doing what I'm passionate about.
Right.
That shouldn't have too much of an effect for him. But yeah, that's got to be a little different, man. Going from being on the actual pay-per-view itself to co-main event, main event, to now you're starting the show. And you're being able to be watched free.
Yeah, no joke, man. I mean, his opponent, I'm looking at him right now, bro, and I mean, he lost to Jose Aldo. This was Pedro Munoz. But the guy's got submission wins. He's got wins via TKO, KO. So I mean, he's multiverse, of course. This is mixed martial arts, but I mean, I can't see. He's from Brazil. I was expecting jiu-jitsu stylist, sort of, as far as being a finisher, but I mean, the guy obviously showing up to fight, and it's a good fight for Dominic, man, because if he can get this win, I think right now Dominic's ranked number 11 in the UFC roster, so he's still up there. He's 36 years of age. His opponent being 35. Of course, 5'8", so he is a little bit taller. I think his opponent's like he has a 2-inch height advantage. I don't know what the reach is, but yeah, man. I mean, how do you think this is gonna end?
Dominic running the whole fight and just kind of outpointing him, man. I think staying true to his style on what he typically does, man. Grabbing the decision again, just kind of doing enough. If the opportunity does present itself to come out with with TKO or happens to land a big shot, I mean, I see him going for the finish, but Dominic's really never been one to power punch anybody, so I probably I don't want to say lackluster, but probably just a very typical Dominic Cruz decision. Yeah,
stick to his game plan and just kind of win by decision, maybe, or get an advantage and get that TKO or KO.
Yeah.
But we'll see, man. I mean, I know the guys have videos out there showing striking techniques, and so of course, he's a stand-up artist. I mean, mixed martial artist, of course, but I think he prefers to stand up. And but yeah, man, we'll see. I mean, it's Pedro Munoz. I mean, obviously, it's a good opportunity. I mean, he knocks down, Dominic Cruz, man. I mean, he gets to move up even more. But we'll see, man. It's just gonna be at 135 pounds, 35-minute rounds, and we'll see where it goes, man. The last bout I want you to cover, man. This is actually going to be Erin Blanchfield. She's taking on Miranda Maverick. Now, 125 pounds. Both ladies come in with experience. I mean, Erin coming in with a 7-1 record. Miranda 9-3. Now, on something like this, I mean, because they are coming at 125, I don't think any of these ladies have had issues with their with cutting weight. So I don't think that would be a factor. Of course, Erin's coming in, she's 22 years of age, stands 5'4". What are you thinking, man? Like speed, technique? What's going to happen in this one?
Man, Miranda looks like, she has a lot of submission wins on her, man. Submission decisions as well. So, I mean, again, it doesn't seem like she's too much for the striking, or maybe doesn't even,
Doesn't have to gone there.
Can generate that power to get it. But it looks like she is a more of a control submission type grappler fighter, however you want to put it. And then of course on the other side, man, you have let's see, what's her name? It is Erin Blanchfield. So I mean, you have her as well, man, and a couple of things but the thing that does strike me, man, is that she does have some TKOs. So, she had a finish with a head kick. So it just seems like maybe Erin's probably maybe a little bit more versed. You know, she has more to herself than just the ground as well. So I think anytime you can come in with more advantages, you know, or with more technique, you're gonna put yourself in a better spot to win. And but with that being said, man, Miranda had a lot more fights. She's like 9-3,
right?
So there's a little bit more experience. I'm gonna roll with Miranda. I'm gonna expect her to again continue the game plan of what she's been doing.
Oh yeah, it's working, right? Why not?
Why not? I mean, it seems like everybody knows what's coming, but they still can't stop it. So I look for her to come in close, take her down, grab a submission, or maybe just hold position and maybe do some ground and pound. It doesn't seem like it would be enough to get the stoppage, but enough to kind of keep her winning the rounds. And anytime you're getting hit and you're on the bottom or anything like that, it's frustrating because in the bell rings, you got to stand back up.
Oh yeah, you got to start all over, man.
Yeah, and so I mean that can take a toll on you mentally, man, throughout the whole fight. So I'm gonna stick with Miranda.
Same here, man. I think she's gonna be the aggressor, the stronger one in the fight as far as being able to control the bout. But it is MMA, man, so we'll see. I mean, this is going to be for the in the flyweight division, 125, 3 5-minute rounds. And I lied. I'm going to go over the fight that's actually going to start the card, man. I forgot about these two gentlemen. Augusto Sakai, now out of Brazil, he's fighting Tai Tuivasa, and I probably chopped that up.
Oh, okay.
But these guys are prelims, man. 3 5-minute rounds. Super heavyweight, bro. It's 265-pound weight limit. Mm-hmm. So that I wanted to talk about this one just because there's going to be a lot of power being thrown in here, man. I mean, just the Brazilian, of course, Augusto, man. He's coming in with 2 losses, but he's fought. He has a win over Andrei Arlovski. I mean, he lost to Czech Congo. I think it was a Bellator 179, and Congo, of course, being the striker, man. So he's definitely been in there with some monsters, dude. But I mean, just the fight alone, man. Like I said, I mean, his opponent Tai, 15-3, heavyweight or super heavyweight. I mean, on something like this, and I'm not gonna say there's no technique, because these guys obviously they train in mixed martial arts and grappling and boxing, but when somebody can throw a punch and they have 265 pounds behind them, bro, like, I mean, what stops that? They beside the freight truck, it's like, but I mean, heavy hitters. So of course, I mean, they're gonna start out the fight card, and it should be a wild one, dude, because obviously they want to put it, they want to start off with a bang. So I see somebody's gonna get knocked out like viciously.
Oh yeah.
And we'll see, man. But I mean, what are you thinking about this one?
Yeah, man. Tai, man, last 3 fights, he's stopping guys, man, and he stopped Greg Hardy, who some say he isn't a legitimate MMA guy, but now I think he's kind of making the transition over. I think he also gave him the respect, but he was able to finish him, man, in round 1 with the ground and pound, which of course made a lot of other people happy as well.
Oh yeah.
And the fight before that, man, it was round 1, 49-second, ground and pound, and then Steven Struve, he beat him just right before the bell of round 1. So you do have Tai, who's really explosive, and in that first round, it's so yeah, I mean that's a lot to take in. And then of course there's Augusto, man. He's on a 2-fight losing streak. Doesn't really display he does have a lot of TKOs as well, but you see a lot more decisions in there.
Right.
So as far as at least what it feels like, just seeing that off paper, looks like Time Man's going to have the advantage going into it. Again, anytime you have 2 heavyweights, Richard Odoms has talked about it before, man. Man. 2 big guys like that throwing full power, someone's going to get knocked out.
Throwing those sledgehammers of fist they have, fist, bro.
Man. Yeah, it's that's going to be really explosive. I think it's probably the best way to start the fight card off.
Oh yeah, they couldn't have gone wrong with this one, man. But I want to say too, man, on the earlier cards with the UFC, man, Tai, he actually fought Rashad Couture. And he got the win in round 1, flying knee, bro. That's a big dude throwing a knee, man. But goes to show how agile he is, you know?
Dude, yeah. I mean, who's that? Was it Barnett? The other big heavyweight?
Bro.
That's doing the flips and everything like that.
Yeah, man. That's just freaking insane, dude. But I mean, they're out there, man. I mean, obviously, you know, these guys want to put on a great show. I mean, it's going to happen. It's going to start up the fight card. This is going to be on December 11th. It will be on pay-per-view, man, so I'm definitely looking forward to it. I know one of our friends here at Raw Dog's Saloon is going to have the fight party, man. They're going to have a fight watch out there, so I'm hoping to make it, man. I definitely want to pop in. I'm old, once again, so I might, you know, you see me asleep in the booth, might just let me catch some Z's. But
give me 10 minutes.
Yeah, bro. But it should be a good place, man. I mean, of course, they're going to have music. They're going to have poker games going on. So if you're on there, I'm going to put the link on the page. But that's our recap, man. I mean, we just went over a few. Once again, Aaron, thank you for joining me.
No problem, man.
And did you want to finish this off with anything, or did you want to save it?
Well, you know what, man? On this one, man, I do want to kind of talk about the Kevin Lee being released. You know, so just recently, man, Kevin Lee, he was released from the UFC. And he actually made a statement. It's not so much talking about Kevin Lee, but the statement that he made was talking about being cut, you know, and his regard into cherry picking fights, you know, as a UFC fighter or just as a fighter in general. And that term cherry picking fights, man, that can be very dangerous because as an amateur, as a local pro, as, you know, somebody who's trying to get to the next level, that's not what you want to do. You want to get your experience. You want to, you know, really test yourself out. A lot of us really don't have the luxury to say, hey man, I just want to fight him. I just want to fight him. As a fighter, when you're first starting off, whoever they signed you up with, hey man, just go to town.
That's it.
You know, whether you know win or lose or whatever, look at your performance, go back to the lab, and then, you know, work on getting better. Now with him, he was talking about when you get into the UFC, you know, cherry pick your fights, man. You know, don't do this. I was like, but then I don't think that's really a possibility either, because you're in the UFC. They have the roster of guys. Hey man, you got to fight. Okay, good. Yeah. Well, me as a fighter, if I got into the UFC, I want to be sure that I'm able to make money off the name and the fact that I'm associated with the UFC.
Right.
You know, so even if you come in, you understand that your time's not going to be long, even though you have a contract. So you're always on borrowed time. So when you're in there, make the most of it. Also work on trying to, hey, how do I make the most out of my name? How do I make the most money right now? Do I do seminars? Do I write something? Do I, you know, do meet and greets? Bank off the fact that you're associated with the UFC, and that's gonna, I think, you know, kind of ease the pain of when you do eventually get cut or you end up stop being in the UFC. But right. You always want to keep your name out there, and I think Kevin Lee was a guy that tried to talk trash one time, and I don't think he was really good at it. So so now it's kind of like I don't know what's next for him. You know, he was in a really heavy division, you know, that had a lot of talent in the welterweights and also at the lightweights as well. So it's easy for him to get overlooked. I mean, we talked about Leon Edwards, who's, I think, underrated and been overlooked for quite a while. But guys, when you're out there, man, just getting signed, you have a big name for yourself in the local scene or the regional scene. Hey, how do I work on making sure that I stay relevant? You know, don't do it by, you know, trash talking or whatever. And some guys will do that anyways. But, you know, how is it that I can make some money off my name at least while I'm hot? So that's something I just wanted to bring up.
No, man, I appreciate that, man. And definitely, I mean, great 2 cents that you threw in there, because it does make a lot of difference for these guys. Like you say, if you're in the UFC, I mean, sometimes it's not till you're a champion or you have a belt that you can actually pick and choose who you want to fight, but till then, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. But everybody, man, this is Spider here once again, Aaron Suarez, and this was the recap for the UFC card coming on December 11th. Mm-hmm. So it will be on pay-per-view. Chime in, go to the YouTube channel, subscribe, and comment. So next time, follow up.